Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the interim executive director's report.
Good morning. I fully intended to present you with a draft budget today, as I mentioned at our last meeting a week ago Wednesday. However, we're still sorting through some of the financial issues that the authority is dealing with. I've been working with a couple of different accounting firms and auditors. We will have the audit prepared, we understand, very soon. But we're still relying on some data from that to generate the budget and look at past expenditures. I've also been doing a great deal of analysis of the past expenditures of the authority in certain areas. And we're working to develop different system of reporting to you as a board, so you can see what you have in the budget rather than having broader categories. You'll have more detailed categories, and you'll get a detailed reporting on a monthly basis with the system that we're setting up. But to get there, we've got to kind of tear some things apart, put some things back together. So we will have the budget for you soon, but it's probably as soon as we have the audit. I also wanted to talk to you about Main Street Market, the building, and an update on that. Ms. Lesser was here at your last board meeting. I have a meeting with her next Thursday. I've also reached out to the county's building official, David Beam, to get a list of structural engineers to take a look at the facility. Now that facility, I just learned this morning, is in the historic district. And if we're going to replace the metal roof, which is there with a shingle roof, it requires review of the town's, I don't have the title right because it's different from community architectural review board, is what I've learned. So we'll be looking at that roof, the structure, what needs to be done, if it needs to be replaced, what types of specs we're going to use so that we get apples to apples comparisons on the estimates, because it was pointed out at the last board meeting, we've got a wide range of different ideas from roofing contractors as to what can be done, what can't be done. So we'll have more information for you in the near future on that.
Excuse me.
Yes.
It would be good. I think it would be good to pursue the options of what's the viability of selling the building at the same time.
Okay.
So that we could go down that track, where that may be our option.
I agree.
Ron said he had a couple of people that expressed interest in it.
Okay.
You got Ron on the phone yet?
But he wants to come in at close.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. Well, we will pursue that, and I assume Ron is Ron Llewellyn.
Yeah.
He's brokering the building. Kind of. Is that correct?
If he knows somebody.
He said he knew a couple of people that may be interested.
Okay.
That's his quote.
Okay, well, I'll follow up with him on that. Okay. Just to bring you up to date on the executive director recruitment, the position is posted on all the sites that we noted. We have applicants in the candidate pool already. Matter of fact, we had one the day that it was posted. And I've spoken to a number of prospective candidates, some with a considerable amount of economic development experience, who have an interest in the position. So I think you'll have a decent pool of applicants. I never say you'll have an excellent pool of candidates, because you never know until it closes. And you might get out of the gate a little bit fast, but then you tend to slow it down. Also want to touch on property maintenance services for the EDA. In the past, that's been handled primarily by private contractors on an on-call basis. And we've kind of had a list of folks who do work. And there's not been any real clear-cut definition of schedules. It's kind of on an as-needed basis. So I've been working with Doug Stanley over at the county, talking to him about a routine maintenance schedule for all of the EDH properties. And that would be the grass cutting and groundskeeping. That would be taking care of some of the properties with minor repairs. The county does not do HVAC work, so we would still need to retain and develop a list of HVAC contractors should we have problems. And we're talking, and they are going to be doing our janitorial services. We got a major prospect in this week, and Missy and I talked about how the building had been maintained in the past, cleaned in the past. It was done by the staff. And you've got 2 staff here who stay pretty busy. And we weren't really even getting, sometimes taking out the trash. So the county was kind enough to put us on their schedule. And they came in, they spent about 2.5 hours here on Wednesday. And the place looked much better. So we will also be working with the county on developing or folding janitorial services into that agreement 1 day a week for a couple of hours a week. That agreement will be coming before the board. Doug and I are working on that agreement now. He has to take it to his board, but the county has been awfully supportive of the EDA in the short term of helping us through fulfilling some short-term needs. I would also mention that, you know, when the locks needed to be changed in this building, they were changed immediately. And it was also pointed out to us that we had a secure area for record keeping, which right now is vital to our operations and looking to the past. We had a secure area in the basement, allegedly secure area in the basement, which was framed out with 2x4s, so pretty substantial framing. But the only barrier between anybody on one side of the basement and our records was plastic sheet. So the county, at my request, came in and they plywooded that over, and so we do have a secure record area. Missy is also, we have a large amount of equipment down there, and we are inventorying that to determine who paid for that, whose equipment that is, because we're really not quite sure. So the county has been real good to us. It'll be a simpler process for them, for the board to enter into a maintenance agreement with them if the board chooses to do so. And I believe it will be more efficient, more cost effective for us as well, and we'll have more consistent services. Website maintenance. Websites in today's world are extremely important to any progressive organization. I had an opportunity. Our website's an attractive website, but it's a static website. It's not a dynamic website. When I arrived, we needed to, because I was the interim director, we needed to remove the former director's name because she was still a primary contact. That took, Missy was able to do that. It took a little while to do it. It was also brought to my attention that the Atlantic building that is up on 540 is available for lease. That's on the state website. It wasn't on our website. So we actually created the document. Missy and I created the document to get it posted on the website, and it's now up there. However, the rest of the website, the demographic data is a little bit dated. We've got some information up there. For example, the authority did a strategic plan in 2015 or so. That's still posted as our strategic plan. Whether or not we should leave that up there, we would need to work with a qualified webmaster on it. And the gentleman who developed our website is no longer doing websites. He's decided to withdraw from that business. So at your next meeting, I'll be bringing you an agreement with Queen Technologies to maintain the website, as well as to maintain our technology here in the building. That's a local business. Nathan has been extremely responsive. He's been working with us on an hourly basis, and appears to be a very professional and a very responsive firm in regard to our needs. I would suggest that we fold, and I'll talk to you about this in more detail when we get to the budget at an upcoming session. The cost for updating the website, revamping, is a little bit over $6,000. Not a significant amount of money, although all money is significant these days through the authority. But I would suggest that if the board chooses to move in that direction with that contract with Queen Technologies, that we hold off the overhaul of website till you have your new director on board, because he or she may have some good ideas about how you may want to present that website. But we are moving in that direction as well. I wanted to make you aware of that. Wanted to bring you up to date on renovation of 2 East Main Street. Dan and I had met with the developer and with the architect, and the project is moving along. We are in the process of putting together financing mechanisms as well as additional contractual documents, which were not followed up on when the original contract was signed with the developer to be the developer. And we will have some updates for you here in the very near future, but they have done a substantial amount of work on the building. It's been funded through a letter of credit that we have, and we are arranging for more permanent financing for the facility through a construction loan, and then conversion to a sale to that owner when the building is renovated. But we'll be putting those documents together, and we'll keep you abreast of what's going on with that as well. So those are the issues that I had under the executive director's report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions?
So when do you think we'll have the budget? Next meeting?
By the 22nd, yes. The 22nd will be your next meeting, yes. One way or the other.
I know you and I had talked about we might do the meeting on the 19th or 20th to accept the audit. You're thinking that will be the 22nd?
Well, we do have a meeting on the 22nd. That's a good point, Dan. That slipped my mind. And speak, the county, okay, let's sequentially, we're going through work with a couple of different accounting firms. One is our auditor, who is doing the audit for fiscal 2018, who is working with the auditor whom you've retained to take a look at all the finance. They're working with yet another accounting firm, Square QuickBooks. And what I understand is, and I know that there's a conversation today at 3 o'clock between our auditor and the firm doing the more detailed audit. We are expecting to have the work wrapped up very soon, and hopefully in time to get the audit our audit to the county. And to get our audit to the county, we have to have you as a board review and accept the audit. So they have to have the audit on the 19th. We may need to have yet another special meeting as that unfolds, but we'll know more about that, I think, later today or Monday. But the county really needs to have the audit. That has been impressed upon our accounting firm, upon the other accounting firm that is involved, and we're working towards that end. It's getting some numbers meshed together. So we're going to, if we meet on the 20th, we'll have the budget on the 20th. We won't have a couple of meetings, we'll just have one meeting. If we meet on if we have to have another meeting after that, it would be, no, we won't have any meeting after that. It would be the 20th, where we try to get you everything. Okay. Cell phone reimbursement policy. When y'all met with me to become your interim director, we talked about use of technology, and I have an assigned laptop. And talk to y'all about most entities I've worked with, they have their own cell phone programs. Well, we're too small to have our own cell phone program. I talked to a communications technology director up in Northern Virginia. I know about piggybacking on state contracts or county contracts up there, and it wasn't practical for our organization. Consequently, in talking to the county and what happens at the county level, they have a cell phone stipend policy where individual staff purchase their phone and they're provided a monthly stipend. And so what you have before you today is the cell phone stipend policy. Since we have no discussion about cell phones and payment of cell phones in anything that I've seen other than the former director's contract with the board, which called for full coverage. Consequently, in a matter of trying to gain some economy for the authority and to put something in place so that we know, you know, as a board, what the obligations of the board are, what the obligations of the employees are, we recommended the cell phone policy that you have before you. Essentially what the policy does, it lays out 2 plans of payment. If an employee has voice communication only on their phone, they're reimbursed $30 per month. That is, you call the employee, they may be on call or something like that. They get a $30 per month stipend. If there's a need for them to have both voice and email communication, they would receive $45 per month stipend. The director has responsibility as your agent for designating and maintaining the list of who has phones and what the payments are. And the employee understands fully that their public records are foiled under this program. So we would recommend, I would recommend that this policy be adopted. It would be accepted by the board, adopted, so that we can begin to implement that and better control our costs, as well as have a document in place which provides us the basis for future communications.
And this is consistent with essentially the county's policy?
Yes. Dan actually drafted this for the county, so it's a mirror image of the county's policy.
Including the dollar amounts for the
Yes.
reimbursements?
We've had it in place, I guess, since around 2012, we put it in place.
2012, yeah.
And it works well. I mean, if you accept the stipend, then if you get an email at 9, 10 o'clock, you're expected to respond within a reasonable time. So some people don't want the stipend.
Have the amounts been updated since
No.
2012?
No, it stayed the same since 2012.
That's my only question about the policy, whether it's an adequate amount.
I mean, we've never had any concern. We've had those same amounts. So I think it's adequate this time.
Okay.
These are also personal phones.
Yes,
yeah,
personal
So it's
phones.
being used as on a personal
Yeah.
basis.
But your emails and texts are still subject to FOIA. All that good stuff provided as far as FOIA response.
I move we adopt the policy.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, and any further discussion? All those in favor of this proposal, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carried.
Policy.
We will now move into closed session. So you have that statement.
Yeah.
That I will clear it out.
Here it comes, here it comes.
Yeah.
John?
She got it.
It's the motion. I think you want to state that.
Who's gonna do that?
Close statement.
Not sure.
That's not the one I'm thinking.
I think John's right.
This is the
John's
motion.
right for you.
Yeah. Today we will receive information from our consultants, which we as a board will hear for the first time. The information will provide us with direction on how we will need to proceed as a board as we work toward better understanding the actions of our former director and operating the authority. To ensure that we as a board have a clear understanding of the information and make the best decisions going forward, we will be including only the board, designated staff, and our outside consultant in our closed session. We will in the near future, and when we are certain that we have all the information and answered all the questions, be requesting time with the full town council and board of supervisors to brief them and present our plan for moving forward. Yeah, if you'll
I, Baker, move that the Board of the EDA vote to go into closed meeting under the provisions of Section 2.2-3711 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act for the following purposes. Section 2.2-3711.a.8. Consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. I further move that discussion be limited to the discussion of EDA loan programs and accounting services. Baker, aye. Drescher, aye.
Daily, aye.
And,